Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3 testing. Cool, cool, cool. Um, Hello and welcome to Legroom plays Geneforge. I think this is episode 4 off the top of my head. Um, yeah, it's continuing to be good fun. We have over the last few weeks, we've started to uncover some of the mystery of this island, and we've reached the town of Plentil, which is the home of the Obeya servile faction. So we'll be interacting a lot with them today and having some fun there. You enter the village of Pentil. Once this was a large Shaper fort, probably the administrative centre. Now serviles are nestled in the ruins. As you enter, the effect on the serviles is dramatic. They stare at you in awe. Considering how independent the civils of Vakiri were, the change is remarkable. Some of the serviles fall to their knees. One of their guards walks up to you, staring at the ground and shuffling his feet. Shaper, welcome to Pentil. In the name of the Abayas, we welcome you and are grateful that you have turned to rule and guide us at last. He shuffles back to his post, not daring to look directly at you. When you meet the gaze of those meek creatures, they look away. For once the servals are acting like you expect. Right. This massive hall is arranged with rows of crew benches. An old Shaper throne, salvaged by the Abayas, is at the far end. It is too large for the serviles, but they use it anyway. This is the meeting hall of Pentil, at the heart of the Abaya sect. From here, the plans of the serviles are set into motion, all with the sole intention of pleasing the Shapers. Abaya's reminder. Every moment of happiness you have ever had is because of the Shapers, and sadness too. All satisfaction at work, properly performed, is because of a Shaper, and is owed. The joys of food, children, and song all come from the Shapers, and can be taken upon its eyes. All wisdom and guidance comes from the Shapers. Shaper errors only lead to purer truth. All protection comes from the Shapers. The Shapers are the greatest of powers. We must be thankful, we must obey. Leader Rydell. You face the leader of Pentil, an old servile sitting on his throne. You are trained to look at creations and evaluate their mental state. You have never met a creation so conflicted. Finally, he says. Oh, sorry. Finally, he says. Shaper, I've heard of your arrival. I am awed and grateful that you have returned to us at last. I am Rydell. I am the leader of the Obayas, the only sect that has stayed steadfast and true to you. We know that you are alone here. Rogues hunt you, as they do us all. We hope that you have come to assist us, and to reward us for our obedience. Watches you expectantly. So I've got some options here, and I'm not sure how much I want to feed into his expectations. Yeah. Let's try and stay on his good side. So he's the leader of the Abaya sect, so he's probably going to want me to be a little bit pushier. Your obedience pleases me. The Servile has spent many years in command, plotting and scheming. He has now come face to face with what he has worshipped for many years. Awe and cunning fight within him as he tries to decide how to deal with you. Then, we have done well. We have been frightened. We never knew if we were doing the right thing. Now we know. I will spread the good news. What do you want here, Shaper? We obeyers can provide shelter and information. You only need to hear what you want. I want to learn more of the obeyers. Gladly, Shaper. My life is centered around our beliefs. I think they will be pleasing to you. We want nothing but to show your kind the obedience that we owe you as our creators. We hope, one day, that we will be able to convince you to give us your support. Tell me more of the Obeyer's beliefs. It will be simple, Shaper, for our beliefs are exactly those of you and your people. You are our creators. We were not there, and then we were, through your will. The Awakened say that our debt to you for our creation has been paid off. This is not true. Even if it can be paid, it will take many, many more years of true obedience and service. Note, however, that we only serve the true Shapers, who follow the Shapers' true beliefs. If we feel like a Shaper has been twisted from the will of its kind, we will not obey. When should Serviles be allowed to ignore the Shapers? That second one. I wish to discuss affairs on the Isle with you. Outside of this Isle, invaders. We do not know where they are from or what they want. We knew you were a true Shaper and not a rebel. We can share information with you. You'd have to be our ally first, though. I want to leave this island and work on a boat. Rydell looks startled. After centuries of waiting for Shapers to return, it did not occur to him that, upon your return, you'd immediately want to leave. Still, he is obedient. I do not generally think of such things, but I heard Pixley speak of a boat recently. She's in town somewhere. So Pixley is somebody that the merchant in Vikiri sent me to speak to kind of re-establish trade links. Don't know if you truly follow the laws of the Shapers. If you're on Susia Isle for forbidden reasons, sharing information with you might help. If you were to become our ally, we would know that we could trust you. Rydell is cunning for a Servile. For all his obedience to your kind, he is determined to get assistance for his people. Tell me of this village. Good evening, Archaic Futurist. Nice to see you in the chat. This is the largest servile settlement on Susia. We've worked hard to make it so. We want it to be ready for when the Shapers return. Still, we face many threats. It has been hard. How have you obeyed us in our absence? For each of the tasks the Serviles have For each of the tasks the Shapers have Serviles perform, we have one group which carries it out, ensuring each new generation to serve as the ancestors have served. Please, Shaper, speak with the Serviles here. Note their skill and loyalty. Our loyalty has made us strong and prosperous. Tell me more about the rogues. I would, but I think you had best learn of the threats which face us from those who must deal with them directly. Find Mikal. He can tell you much. And Shaper, if you're feeling mercifully kind, please help us. Recently our difficulties have been great. Another question? That is all. So yes, it's interesting. Not necessarily what people would expect of the leader of a sector that worships my cultural group. Though the Serviles of Plantil claim total obedience to the Shapers, it is very strange what you find in here. It is a Shaper laboratory, once used for shaping new creations. It has been scrupulously maintained by the Serviles. It also looks like, despite the absence of Shapers for many years, this lab has been in use. The Serviles here seem to have been trying to use Shapers' powers on their own. Very strange. Forbidden. Oh. I have not swapped onto the gameplay. Thank you very much archaic futurism. I'm very sorry, I was asleep about 20 minutes ago, so still my first thing in the morning. Thank you very much. It wouldn't be my stream without me messing up at some point at the start. He's an old servile alchemist. This is what he must be, strange as it is. Servals can be used as laboratory assistants, but this one clearly aspires to be something more. You smell the sulphur stink of living Fioras nearby. Welcome, Shaper, the old servile says. I am Jaffe of the Obeyers. I have been here long and learned much. I'm sure there's much you want to know about the Isle. I can help you. What sort of work are you doing here? What is this lab for? Do not fear, Shaper. I am not following the arts forbidden to us serviles. I never attempt to try and make my own creation. I've been trying to tame existing creations. I will control rogues and have them fight for us instead of against us. I expose them to training, to beating, and to essence, and appeal to their natural obedience to true Shaper thoughts. Does it work? It does. Sometimes. Sort of. Most of the rogues who captured do not survive the taming. A few have, all for yours. They fight for us now, in some places. We need all the defenders we can get to survive. So what we've learned. I am ashamed, Shaper. I cannot bear to expose my ignorance to you. It would be too humiliating. You tried to convince him to help you, but his shame is too great. Grr, indeed. Pixley. You meet a happy servile, good-natured despite the horrors that surround her. Your approach elevates her from happiness to ecstasy. The Shaper! Visiting me? I'm honoured. I'm Pixley, the leader of the Travellers, the ones who move things about, who roam the whole isle, sometimes to aid the Shapers, sometimes for ourselves. It's the greatest honour to meet a Shaper at last. You travelled? My ancestors scouted and moved supplies to the Shapers. We do the same thing now. We keep the fruits of travel clear so that we may serve your kind in the same way when you return. Since you have been travelling, you must know how dangerous our task is. Tell me what lies east of here. First, there's the river, spanned by 2 bridges, crumbling but intact. Then heavy woods. You will find many rogue creations, but several outposts as well. Some of them will aid you. Then the deadly area of Kazag, swarming with takers. Then a few jagged rocky peaks. Then water again. Tell me what lies north of here. Desolate wastes, with rogues and little else. Beware that area, Shaper. Not even my folk travel up there. What has made things especially dangerous? She shakes her head. It's the bridges. The river to the east is spanned by 2 bridges, and they're both blocked. They're guarded by rogues. I've lost 2 drovers there, both killed. The sort of horrible thing we've been hoping the Shapers would rescue us from. If you were able to clear one of the bridges for us, we would be thankful. What sorts of rogues? It varies, but large, powerful varieties, even bigger than the Blish and the Romans that plague us. Where did these rogues come from? We don't know. Rogues have been invading servile lands for 3 years now, and they all come from the north. Most of them we can deal with, but it gets worse every month. Another question? I have a message from Cole in Vakiri. Before you arrived, I would have said it would be futile. Too many rogues. You have helped clear the route between here and there. Tell Cole that I'll do my best to begin sending goods. You must be patient, though. It will take time. There is still danger on the roads. I wish to find a boat. I wish I could meet your every need, Shaper, but I have never seen a boat. But one of my scouts told me that she saw one of my scouts told me that she saw a ship recently near the shore south of here. She tells you how many days ago. Coincidentally, it was the same day you were attacked and swam to the island. She was travelling through the tombs to get there. Go south through the Pental Woods, and then east. If you explore the shore, you may find something then. My craft was attacked by a ship around then. What? It attacked a Shaper? Please don't believe we had anything to do with it. Serviles don't build ships. Another question. That's everything. Oh yes, that's something to be established. And stuff in my junk bag. This guy looks burgundy. Several serviles have set up tables in this courtyard. Though the rogues plaguing them have dramatically reduced trade, the Abears used to do a lot of business here. The merchant looks up at you. Strangely, though the Abears practically worship you, this merchant is very uncomfortable. Greetings, mighty Shaper. I am honoured that you have found the time to inspect my humble wares. I hope you'll forgive me, times are very tight, and I must ask much more for my goods than I would like to. Sell my junk bag. Let's keep it with you. This library is both impressive and pitiful. It's a monument to a Bayer worship of the Shapers. Take a sip of coffee. The shelves are piled with scrolls. You pick up one and inspect it, then another. There are records, bureaucratic notes of the colony here before it was abandoned, inventories, notes, bureaucratic mundanity. They aren't the originals, though. They are copies, painstakingly made and kept legible by the servile scribes in case the Shapers ever returned. The records are worthless, though. Whatever information they contained has been rendered obsolete and useless by years of abandonment. So much time was wasted here, just because the serviles thought your people might appreciate it. Learned Dana. At last you meet a servile who is doing a servile's job. Many of her kind do record keeping and other indoor administrative work. These smarter variants are too weak to be used for farming and fighting. This female displays the respect and awe that is the norm here. Shaper, you inspect us at last. I am Dania. Welcome to the Records Hall. I maintain it and train other serviles to maintain it. I hope it meets with your approval. What records are stored here? My ancestors were charged by the Shapers to keep records of non-essential business on Susia. For years we have done that. It's been difficult. We pull people away from hunting and farming and train them to do this work. Sometimes the paper rots it, and then we have recopied them. I'm sure everything here is intact, and as the Shapers would wish it. I hope our work pleases you. Do your records say what the sign is for, or where the Shapers kept their work? Oh no, we'd never be trusted with knowledge like that. Only the Shapers should have those sorts of records. Where did you get the pens and ink and paper? We made them ourselves, you friendly lads. It takes a lot of work. What exactly can I find here? Inventories of food and tools, lists of serviles and other creations, orders of basic supplies, all dating up to where the Shapers lived. So at least a century old, and it's hopefully outdated. So I've got two options here. So the thing that I'm going to notice, and it's been made clear to me in dialogue boxes before, if I talk to these people and say, yes, everything you're doing with your way of life is absolutely fantastic, then the awakened and the takers will hear. And they'll say, okay, why, come on, that's not how you were talking to us. But if I were to say to this woman, you and your parents' parents have wasted their lives, then obviously these guys aren't going to like that. So I'm not personally, philosophically, I'm not a fan of the obeyer philosophy. It feels a little bit close to slavery, to be perfectly honest. These are clearly intelligent beings. So I don't really want to show obeisance, and this is, like it points out, a colossal waste of time and effort for people who don't really have time and effort to spare. So this is madness. Dana takes a step back, horrified. You mean all these years? My life? This work? Wasted? On the will of the creators? She breaks down into tears. It takes her some time to regain her composure. She stands tall. I am sorry, Shaper. I'm sorry we have not done your will. We will join the other labourers. Maybe that will please you more. You keep records. Do you know about the history? Very little. Records are well, we don't really understand them. We got a little bit of knowledge. Do you know anything about the canisters I've been finding? I know that they were discovered here. Our records have mentioned of their construction and use. They're capable of rewriting the very code of life hidden deep within our being. The Shapers stopped making them. Then they fled the island. I do not know why. She looks at you closely. Shaper, you have been using them, haven't you? Though I've never seen one of you, you look strange to me. She fetches an old mirror, worn and cracked, and shows you your face. She is right. You have changed. There is a cold look in your eyes, and you think you can see a faint glow underneath your skin. Very strange. Do you know why this eye was barred? We can't say such records weren't kept here. However, we have spent many years copying and recopying these records. It's a few odd things. Huge amounts of supplies were moved around this island when it was operational. Many Shapers came and left. The three Shapers that directed things were Definil, Karata, and Danette. What they were doing, why they left, no idea. I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep a record of this in my journal, because those three names are going to be important later. I can tell you, though, we have more records. Papers Servals should not have. His name is Tiovo. He's a foul taker in Kazakh. He jealously guards the most valuable records of the Shapers, even the location of their most useful artifacts. To learn more, find him. Question. Is there any way I can help you keep records? I think no. Yes. It's not marked as not mine. I feel guilty now. I feel guilty for trying to get people to do the most with their lives. This burly Serval has a pair of axes at his belt, one on either side. He is grim, restless, and not entirely in awe of you. This meeting hall, once quite grand, has been converted into a lumber yard. The smell of freshly cut wood is heavy in the air. I'm Godwin, he says. I'm the head woodsman. I keep Servals trained in the ways so that when the Shapers return, we can fetch wood for you. You're a Serval woodsman. Aye. Fetching wood and shaping planks were two of the main things you Shapers use Servals for. That started a long time ago. And we make sure to train new woodsfolk down generation to generation. We must always be able to obey your will, though it's been difficult. What sort of difficulties? Nothing that'll surprise you. Rogues, flish, lots of them, in the woods to the south. They aren't tough. Run a few of us at them with axes, and we can take them down quick. But then, the next week, they're back. They keep reappearing. We can't figure out from where. Perhaps you could figure it out. Perhaps you could. I've always hoped Shapers would return to help us, but never thought it would happen. But if it did, I sure would be grateful. You can go to the woods to the south and find the source of the flish and remove it. We will be grateful. Another question? Woodsman? Must always obey. Always, if they're a true Shaper, one who believes in maintaining the old ways of things. You aren't an obeyer, so you don't understand. We will obey you and take our part of the grand way of things, give you proper gratitude for our creation. Another question. What's all this wood for? Warmth, tools, cooking fires. Also, we're running out of space in the original stone buildings, making our own huts and halls out of wood. How do you decide where to make settlements? It was hard. Shapers always told us where to build before. We had to figure out how to do it on our own when things got bad. when we were sleeping stacked 3 high in the original buildings. We just outgrew your original settlements. We don't know if serviles making buildings on our own follows the true will of the Shapers. There was argument, but we had no choice. Talk to people. This servile is young, but she moves as if she bears a heavy burden. Her hands show signs of hard work, but her robes are free of dirt. When she sees you, she kneels. A single tear runs down her cheek. I heard, but I did not dare believe. It is true. After all our waiting, you have returned to us. Welcome, Shaper. I am Natley, head of the farmers. I have trained the serviles as you would wish. Tell me about the farmers. She's exhausted and her eyes are red. Still she manages to talk. We serviles always grew food for the Shapers of Susia Isle. When you left, we knew you would return. We were able to resume service to our creators. For generations we've trained our children to grow food for you. I saw your farm. Well, what did you do with the food since we weren't here? Of course, eating the foods ourselves helps us survive to serve you better. I saw your farms. I cleared the rogues away from the west gate. Oh, Shaper, I know. Thank you. Thank you. Even now we are sending out farmers to repair the damage. Thanks to you, we will not starve. You came to solve problems and all is worst, as we were told you would. Why are you so tired? She lowers her head, leaning closer to you for strength. Not long ago, my bonded was lost. His name was Hudge. He was cutting wood. A Valish poisoned him, and he died. For a time, I questioned how the Shapers could abandon us. Wondered how they would let these things happen to us. In the end, Rydell came to me. What does it mean to be bonded? He was my mate, my love. Interesting. You knew that serviles were fertile and could reproduce, because it would be a waste of effort to magically create all that are needed. You never thought about what their mating rituals would be like. It isn't something the Shapers pay attention to. What did Rydell say? He told me how it was all for the best. He told me how you understood all, and made sure it's all happening for a reason. It was a great comfort to me. Please, Shaper, forgive me for my doubts. Oh. Oh. This is a delicate one. Rydell was right. The servile guard has been beaten severely, result of intense recent combat. His shoulder is bandaged and his face is bruised. He looks familiar. Welcome, Shaper. I am Chesh. Just came from a fierce battle in the fields to the west. It is good to see that you are well. How did the fighting at the gate go? It was easy enough. After you cleared the gate, we only had to mop up the stragglers. Apart from my receiving a sound thrashing at the hand of a huge Thard, with no serious difficulties. What are you doing now? I'm the only part of the town watch until I'm better. The moment I'm ready, I'll be patrolling the bridges to the east, watching for rogue serviles and taker scum. I can't wait to begin fighting again, in the name of our creators. Having you here inspires us all, Shaper. Another question. That's everything. Mikhail. You doubt that you'll ever get used to seeing serviles like this, tall, armoured, and trained with weapons. Fortunately, you have little to fear from this one. It's all he can do to keep from throwing himself to the floor at your feet. Welcome, Great Shaper. I am Mikhail Blade, commander of the armed serviles here. We've waited so long for the return of your kind. There are so many foes facing us, and so little we can do to oppose them without help. I wish to learn about Pentel. I'm not much of a talker. You should learn more about Rydell, about our wars, about the Obeyers. You're an Obeyer? Of course. All of Pentel is. We are proper serviles. We had what we're supposed to. Shapers gave us life, and we are grateful. We've stayed loyal so that you don't destroy us when you return. What are your wars? We're surrounded by rogues. Rogue monsters, rogue serviles, insolent awakened to the west, mad takers to the east. We tried to teach them the error of their ways. Then we had to fight them. We've been fighting for many years. Why fight them? Why not just ignore them? We only do what we think the Shapers would want, because that's what is right, because we don't want you to punish us. You need my help. Rebellion! Rogue serviles! Our warriors in the Thorny Wood must block in a band of dangerous rogue serviles. This task wastes valuable resources. If you could slay them, it would be most helpful to our loyal serviles here. Where is this? If you leave the city gates to the east and travel down the road to the south, you'll reach Thorny Wood. Along the central road, you'll find our outpost. Why do you think these serviles are rogue? They are inutile, casts off from Kazakh, we think. They won't work with us to follow your will. They squat on our lands and steal food from us. We don't have the food to spare. Oh, you just wanted to rogue yourself? They have protected themselves with traps and guards. We cannot eliminate them without losses we can't afford. Not with Kazakh and Vakiri always looking for weakness. Floor in here splattered with blood. Drops are dry, but not old. What are the serviles doing back here? I assume that's some kind of prison or punishment chamber or similar. Yeah. Just gonna quickly check the outer, quick circuit of the outer parts of this village. That's a difficult lock to pick. Yeah, I haven't explored this little bit yet. Don't know what's going on here. Probably something merchanty considering where it is. Just a random server. Again, difficult levers to open. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly check these all the ways out of this town, so I can add the destinations to my map. I've just been asked to deal with that. And then probably try and clear out the spiral burrow. Um, if people remember, I was having some difficulty last week with some of the creations in this immediate area. So I don't feel like forging further Pental East or try for the Nutar village would be quite advisable yet. And if I look in my journal, there's got some things here. Average, Vital Sublish. Yeah, got a couple of quests. Not many. Wooded Valley. So gonna head to Vakiri so I can talk to Cole again. And where is Cole? Probably the trading post. To tell him that I've spoken to Pixley and that traders should be able to work. I'm at Pixley. She is eager to resume trade with you. She thinks that the route to Pendle is safe. Excellent! I'm honoured that you could, with all your important shape of business, remember to help one as humble as me. Here is a reward for you. We awaken believe in giving fair payment for assistance. He hands you 3 living tools. Genuine Shaper artifacts. Fair pay for fair work. And there is this knife thing I need to deal with. Finding a cooking knife for the Shaper chef. It's gone missing. It's not super urgent, but I might as well try to find it while I'm here. Guard serviles. Space. Message. Work. Chance Master Vicary. Level credit. So who would have knife? I don't see anything knife looking in these spaces. what's in the back room here. Yeah. Click it. What sorts of things do you know? What sorts of crimes are committed? Civil like you. You learn so much. Click it walks town to town through wild. Servals think of you. Servile think you great. Servile think you true. You want servile free. As you said, I... Well, secrets. Where can I find a boat? We did. There's invaders on the isle. Secret out to the east. Why don't you talk to me, the servile? So I'm expecting to try to either get a dialogue option about the knife, or find something that looks obviously out of place on the ground, and I quite honestly can't find either. So I am going to not worry about that quest. It is hardly high stakes. It is a chef not having a preferred knife to work with. Um, keep that pool of essence. So yeah, let's go to Spiral Burrow. Some angry roamers there. You find another shape of ruin, mostly torn down and buried in the dirt. Rogue roamers have burrowed deep channels through these rocky hills, perhaps at random, perhaps guided by some other intelligence. There is lots of roamers living in these gullies. It's not hard to tell. It's a common creation design, and you immediately recognise the tracks and smells. Roamers are not intelligent. They can be fierce and cunning in battle. Shapers usually use roamers as guard dogs. These creatures are taught a simple route, which they patrol faithfully. Perhaps, with luck, be able to evade them. Combat starts. Focus on this one on the right first. I think the best route is just to do damage, I think, to start with. Punch. Ow. There we go. So these stones seem to be shedding light when I get close to them, which is going to get useful if we were to go deeper into things. Heal. Bugger. Heal myself now that I've got one heal. Creation protecting me. And I'm feeling like discretion might be the better part of valor here. Yep. That was... Yeah, that was too much for me. Uh, time to remake some things. Evan. Third. Endurance upgrade. And a agility upgrade. So this has been improving its initiative position. So I think that's a reasonable thing to do. This is Vulcan. Second. Cone of fire. Endurance upgrade. Control level perfect. Ooh, I have got better at this. Let's improve the magical skill. No. I need to think about my essence pool as well. And Jeff the Third. Current essence 22. Yep. I feel like the cryoras in these hidden back chambers are a bit manageable now. Cryoras, cryoray. to convince that Crora to calm down. Not working. Actually, like Evan's got a shed load of health now, so I think that's gonna make the difference in terms of what I can and can't achieve. So find the source of flesh. Because that is... No, I think I can. I just wasn't careful and got ambushed. I think I can deal with this. It's just all about being careful. Now that is more like it. That huge damage that Evan was doing. I think I've like increased create Thard twice since I last made Evan. I think. Be very careful around junctions in case there's more patrolling going the other way. Throw out the blessing. Bonus damage. Got enough action points. Come around that corner. Oof. Drop some poison. Show up. Heal. Die of poison damage. And then very quickly, not quite quickly enough, and heal. Because I think Jeff's magic ability stuff continues to be buffed by War Blessing, it would seem. Which is quite nice. Got the discs. Some of that currency. And there is a container. Canister can shape you, improve your ability. Sierra. Bigger. Improving an acidy attack spell on my main character. Now I got it from an early canister, haven't used it much because it costs essence as an attack spell, and I have a lot of my essence invested in creations. But do we want me to learn the second level of Sierra? As it stands currently, I've got there. To be honest, I probably should be using it more. I've got I have plenty of essence, and I've got plenty of essence restoring. I've got plenty of essence pods kicking about. Should I, chat, as I've asked for every canister, bar one before this point, should I use the canister? Feeling seems to be yes. Let's improve that spell. So now it's 11 to 25 acid damage, and acid damage for 3. Classic armor. Actually, like that. Points to be made. Venom Thorns are also junk for me now, because I'm not going to be increasing my skills enough to wield better thorn batons. Or I don't plan to, at least. I'm probably going to pivot to using combat spells rather than batons fairly soon. So this is what's going to worry me, because what I don't want to do is engage in a fight over here, then have Romas hitting me from this side. So I might come over here, throw some healing spells around, just get everybody in top shape, then try this angle again, because I killed off a couple, so I could sneak into this side, and then I've only got this little bit of stuff to deal with. Limited number of monsters that can be in this side chain. At least that's my philosophy on this. That's my gut feeling. Anything in the nest? Another thorn baton. A healing pod. Can never have too many thorn batons. Who just showed up? Robe. Sorry, I saw that fall on the ground. I think that's just a robe rather than using the same sprite as the inventory screen. Right, always the outermost passage. So that I don't get less likely to get ambushed. It's behind this gate. It's only 2 living tools. I feel like I can afford that. A venom baton. Already worth it. The icy crystals. Again, I need to remember to use these. And a shed load of robes. None of which are more useful to me than my chainmail. Yeah, that was the wrong key. Hit G rather than F. F fight. They are focusing me somewhat. A bit more than I expected. That was a misclick, but I didn't get that. So everything's okay. Everything's okay. Just you gotta get in front. Anything of value gets salvaged. It's all about being careful. All about being careful, Legroom. But be careful. Because that looks like a dangerous space to do some exploring in. Whereas this now, because I know that there's nothing that could... Like I've seen that this is all solid wall on this side. Held positioned by lock chains, but you pick the lock! Just bare fingers. Rather than relying on a living tool. Let's close that door again. Oh, lever is stuck in this position. Oh well. So they don't seem to be patrolling down here right now, which is nice. So let's come and try the other path. Kind of down here. Because again, there's only so much stuff that can be in this space. So I don't feel too worried about being ambushed from both sides here specifically. It was more kind of the fact that like stuff was coming at me from like 3 or 4 angles. When I had to completely rebuild the team. Though I do think next time I rebuild the team, I might build Vulcan as a Cryora. Take advantage of my advanced shaping skills and get some slightly cooler creations. If you'll pardon my puns. I mean, you're tuned into Legroom playing video games, like you're gonna be out here for the puns. Let's be fair. Actually, let's... Serum. It's more accurate. I think I've got to really think about using Serum and Firebolt more as... doing damage. Oh lord. Back up. Firebolt, because I'm not this way. There we go. heal. I don't like the fact that it's just shouting alarm. That'll be good. Good. My impatience will be the death of me. That daze is going to save me a heck of a lot of suffering. Javelins. Don't really feel like I need to grab any more meat. I can't use healing because creations can't use items. And I've got quite good healing spells. I don't feel the need to grab things like meat and other kind of low. I was doing it initially, but like if we see here, I've got minor damage on 2 of my creations and no harm on myself. So yeah, if I'm taking hits, they're going to be big chunks of my health bar. I'm going to want I've got no end of healing pots. I've seen a couple go this way. I know that that is relatively clear. So let's quickly come in here. Grab some. Fight. Really like targeting me, don't they? They're clever little buggers. So there's 2 kind of just hanging out there. 3. Ooh. 3 in a small area. Oh boy. Can I catch them both in my cone of fire? Yes. Let's... Cone of ice. Yes. Again with the misclicks, Dave. Ow. Healing pod. Keep myself in good nick. So if I recall, I opened up a gate here, which means I can get into this kind of central space without getting all 3 of these kind of at the same time. You start to feel uncomfortable, nervous, as if you're being watched, sensed, probed. You shuffle from foot to foot nervously, trying to resist the urge to flee. Then you shake your head and concentrate a moment. Your mind clears. Shapers are immune to such tricks. You can sense an intelligence nearby, twisted, probing, attempting to influence you. You recognise the feeling. creations sometimes emanate such vibrations. It's a sure sign of a dangerous rogue. So I was told about a dangerous Vlish in this area. Or in this area kind of north of Elra's Keep. By the blade at Elra's Keep. So I think it's probably that. Kind of controlling... if I'm going to... I can't concentrate. Make your creation be visible. Once I've dealt with these three... Because I think I'm better off dealing with them from the side, because I've got those cone effects. I'll show you that Volition are available to create magic creation. If I walk to here, does that cone hit all three? Yes, it does. Ah. Right. Catch everyone in the acid. Spray. You punch. You breathe fire. Just skulls and bones on the ground now. Charmed thighs. 36 health, armor 20%, stun 50%. So resist, I assume that is. Just talking about the defense bit. Steal a javelin from the junk bag. Make a little money. And that is a Vlish. Warp. Bunch of magical resistances, not much physical armor. So, plan is rush him with Evan and deal with the Thards surrounding him using my ranged creations. Get everyone fully healed up. Drink an essence pod. Let's go to it. Get to here. Throw days. So we're not going to get completely obliterated. An old weathered Vlish turns its eye stalks towards you. It's been living in these ruins for many years, growing stronger and more mad. Vlish have alien thought structures beyond Shaper comprehension, and you have gifted them with limited capability to affect the minds of other creations. They are used as shepherds and enforcers, keeping the servants of the Shapers under control. When it turns its eye stalks towards you, you develop a slight headache. Could this Shaper be so rogue that it would dare try to control a Shaper? So, cure. Just break that command, and then... Evan the Third. 70 points physical. Get a little bit closer so I can hit both of them in a sequence. Actually, I might just do the same thing again, see if I can't clear out the Thard as well. At which point... is broadcasting a message, you get a mild headache. I do not like it charming my allies. Oh, that daze again. Okay. Again, focus down. Ooh. 22 hit points, so there we go! You put the mad Vlish out of its misery. You can't be angry at it. Vlish naturally decay when left on their own, without the gentle, guiding influence of the Shapers. Thought for this lies with whoever abandoned this old, withered creature. So note there that I did acid from Sera and poison from the Vlish, and they stacked, as opposed to the multiple instances of acid I've had going, poison I've had going from Jeff before. Yeah, I might sell off the battles next time I go to town and focus on just using spells. Level up. Currency. Vlish Skin Jerkin. Bonus to 2-point bonus to mental magic. Okay, that is tasty. Yeah. Because that's what? Mental magic, daze, rack, terror, dominate. Ooh. And there's a servant mind at the back there. This raises a lot of interesting questions. And a canister containing... Create Roma. Ooh. What do we think, guys? What do we think, team? Shall I learn how to create a Roma? Had a bit of issues dealing with them in the recent past. Nothing to chat. I will continue to be asking chat for every canister that we come across. Okay, futurism is pointing to, is indicating a positive. Anybody else? General feeling seems to be to go for it. You approach the servant mind. It is still alive and functioning, though it is clearly weak from lack of nutrients. It looks up at you. Welcome, Shaper. I am Control 4. I am pleased to be in contact with you. It has been a long silence. Its eyes are dull and confused. It seems unaware of the rogues outside. What is your given purpose? I am one of Susia Island's control minds. We watch the creations here for signs of going rogue and deal with problems when they occur. When the Shapers left, we were to watch over the creations they left behind. How many servant minds were left to control rogues? 4. The other 3 were based in the east. I've heard nothing from them. You didn't do a very good job. I am very sorry. Please do not destroy me. Tell me about the Shapers. Why did they leave? I was not given that information. I am sorry. I am only here to control. In the hierarchy of servant minds, my ranking is low. How have things been for you? Terrible. Oh, Shaper, I've been in such anguish. I've watched the serviles grow more and more disobedient, come up with their own thoughts and beliefs, questioning the wisdom of the Shapers. I've attempted to eradicate as many of the disobedient ones as I can, but it is so difficult, and I've been so weak. All the serviles have been disobedient. Serviles in the village to the east, Ventil, have been good and loyal. They are deserving of many rewards. There are a new tile, brigands and such. They are smart enough to avoid me. The souls of Vakiri, though, have questioned the wisdom of the Shapers. I've tried to contain their dangerous thoughts as much as possible. You tell are only brigands? I am not sure. My creations have seen strange things south of here. Rogue serviles in the caves by the sea, guarded by creations they control. I don't have enough power to worry about them. How have you contained Vakiri? I can only rarely take control of a creation now. When I do, I set it to hunt the rogues of Vakiri and keep them bottled in. Mental. They call themselves the Obeyers. They've not forgotten their proper role. They do not harm them. Creations here attack me. The servant mind gives its stubby limbs a concerned wiggle. No, Shaper, I am so sorry for your inconvenience. I tried to control creations and use them to keep the serviles nearby in line. I was too weak to keep them going rogue as well. Your destroying the rogues relieves me. I'm sorry you had to perform my duties for me. What about... There are many rogues in the lands around here. Do you know anything about that? There are? No, Shaper, I would never tolerate a rogue. I completely violate my purpose. I control and destroy rogues. I've been too weak to have any influence on affairs here for some time. I am sorry. What about that crazed Flish? What? Warp was rogue? I am sorry. So much has escaped my notice. Seems a little bit mono-focused. Yeah, I could have fed him with some nutrients there, but I don't think that doing that should serve a greater purpose, if it makes any sense. He seems to be a little bit focused on just dealing with the just that my camera seems to be shaky a little bit. Yeah, it seems to be focused on just dealing with the rogues of the Awakened, who I'm kind of erring towards allying with. Ooh. Didn't notice those jars. Nothing yet worthwhile. Yeah, cool. So that's all cleared. Go to Elra's Keep, because sure Swan. You tell me about Warp. Warp was a Vlish. You slew it. Tell me about Holy Fens. Watch Hill. Yeah, that should be alright. Yeah, I think I am going to pivot away, shall we say, from my 6-shooters. Default attack is Firebolt. Just seeing if there was anything more that these folk had for me to do, because I will sell my equipment. Like to trade with you. Buy a living tool. Like to sell something. Sell junk bag. So I'm also quite tempted to throw on the Belishkin Jerkin. So it's a significant drop in my physical armor, but I'm not taking much physical damage. I'm taking a lot of magical damage in terms of like acid spit, fire, those types of things. And because it's so much lighter and I don't have much of an equipment limit, I can get better gear in other slots later on. I'll try it out for a short while, see if it horribly murders me. Keep those around. I'm pretty sure I can hand these over to various people. As part of quests later in the game. Yeah. So let's see what the Inutar village is like. Warped Fiora. You enter a secluded green region of Susia Isle just off the south coast. A gravel path leads ahead. Someone is living out here. Look around for a hint of who is ahead. Your only clue is a sign that reads Refuge. As the path heads south, you can see that it is guarded by two rows of creations, stand at attention, blocking the way. One of them sniffs the air and snarls. They seem like rogues. Very organised rogues. The sign says Refuge. Yeah, I'm not gonna base check that. Pental Woods. To the south of Pental, there are Vlish in these woods. More Vlish. Speaking of creations, I should level up. So I'm going to throw another point into battle shaping, kind of even everything here out. Then another point into battle magic, I think. Oh, I've got more skill points as well. Another point of intellect. Then I think give me more spell energy. I think I'll keep those 2 skill points so I can buy up more of my shaping skills later on. Or, no, buy up Healing Craft. That's what I'll do instead. Buy up those 2. Next. Pental Woods. The Serviles have been very busy in this forest over the last century or so, cutting down the thick stands of trees for their fires in their homes. The woods are quiet now. There are no Serviles to be seen. It is very quiet. In fact, all sounds are muted. The noises of the birds and insects are strangely distant. There is something in the air, an indefinable presence, constantly itching at the back of your mind. Unwelcome and disturbing thoughts constantly intrude upon you. This is not an unfamiliar feeling. You've experienced this before. You're in the presence of Blish, quite a few of them. Blish were created by the Shapers, shepherd simpler creations and send messages to distant aliens. They are frail, highly magical, and their minds are linked. Charged Blish. Only one way to deal with it. missed and then died from the the poison damage she was taking, thanks to Jeff. Through sort of bones all gnawed clean. They haven't been here long. The vigorous smell of corrupt essence is heavy in the air. The distracting aura of the malicious strong here. You hear a soft gurgling hissing through the door to the south. So I'm assuming... better shield. That. I'm assuming that through this door, that vinegary smell has always been associated with the spawners, the weird creations, what make other creations, that we are very much not a fan of. Just seeing what that other kind of... oh, those are just the cloaks, aren't they? What? Oh, shoot. Claw bugs. Yeah, these are pretty hardcore. Resisted the daze. Blessing. Get in the doorway. You've got... oh god, you've got so much health. Is it too tough for me to deal with? Could give it another round. Before making that decision conclusively. Stores. Healing stores. So you're still dazed, so again, don't want to barely be. I think I can... claw bugs might be tricky at the end of it, but... yeah, that was a bit... I think this is just a little touch too much for me to deal with. I don't have quite the damage output to deal with all those fellas right now, I think. To be fair, that is a particularly tough fight. Oh god, the clawbook is coming. Yes, I want to leave. Right. cone of ice. Current essence 27. I can probably give an endurance upgrade as well. So I do think that I can deal. I do think I can deal with the volitionless zone. I don't think I can deal with that spawner. I just think it's too much, too many points of health for me to power through as it stands. Yes, as I kind of mentioned in the first episode of this stream, this game has a I don't want to say it's got like a hard, like it's a super hard game. It's not, but there's very little warning about the way the difficulty curve changes as the game goes, and it can be quite unforgiving at times. So often, the way you'll find out if something is too tough for you is by the way I've been finding it out so far, by just eating a wall full of beef. Ooh, that's not good. Um, yeah, I think that one's got away. Got that terrified condition going. unless I can get some poison spit. 4 turns remaining of terror. Oof. Outside of combat, turns last after a few seconds long, so. Get him healed up. Evan is big, he's tough, but he has not got a strong will, which means he does not cope well with having his brain attacked. But he's good at attacking people who attack brains, so it's kind of impossible to say whether it's good or not. And top up Jeff. Got to be careful about getting too close to that in case I accidentally trigger the claw bugs. Looks like somewhere where people have been doing ground clearance. So, I should say, claw bugs are a mid-tier battle creation. If we go into the mid creation, we can see they are similar to Thards, but much more dangerous. Similar in that they do close combat stuff. They have a lot of health, they have a lot of built-in armor, they do a lot of close combat damage. They are nasty. Trying to do these quick. And there's mines. As far as I can tell, no way of shutting them off. Part of me is just tempted to make a couple of Thards and throw in. Roby for Pandas saying hello in the chat. It's nice to see you, Roby for Pandas. Gonna throw Zera at this person. Charge of Lish calls for help. Hopefully I can deal with them before a huge number of them arrive. Fireball. Need some ice on a fool. Acid. 4-on-1 is how I like my fights. You're coming from behind, are you? And you are... Terriblish, right. Definitely don't want you to have a good time. Ah, I have been terrified. That's not good. Right, everybody gather around me until I can think again. More healing spores. Love healing spores. Again, work to the edges of the map so that I don't end up getting ambushed from all sides. There's a way to the east, through the rooms. According to that sign, leads me towards Kazakh, the city of the Takers, town of the Takers. This glade is full of gnawed orc bones. You can smell sulphur, the nest is recently occupied. The owner's absence feels like you are being watched. Interesting. Punch in. Fire. We've hunted down most of the rogue flesh. It's now safe to cross the ground. Inverted commas safe, I think, is probably the best way to put that. There's definitely something in the middle. So, poison, 500. Yeah, you're going to go down on your own. So let's just keep you in our sights in case something's going on. That is a Terrorblish, so that is the priority. Because of stuff like that. Can't catch both of them in the cone yet, so... Cone of gold from the gemstone. Ow. Cone of ice from Cryora. Acid from the from my Artilla. Love the cone. Gotta love the cone. Spray some acid. 14 damage at the start of the turn. Ouch. When you're ready to join us, Evan. Is that any time you like. What even is that? This is not a woodsman's camp. Oh, dang it, that doesn't stack. Oof. Oof, I say. This was a workshop before its servals abandoned it. They weren't lumberjacks, though. They scavenged old Shaper equipment. There was a lot of it rusting outside to the east. More of it is here. When the Shapers abandoned this island, they left behind a lot of useful tools. Servals were never meant to even touch them, let alone use them. In your absence, this was utterly forgotten. This is interesting considering that I'm in kind of the heart of a Bayer territory. Hatchets and gloves. Let's see if this tells us anything about what's going on. The bulk of this ledger details scavenged Shaper devices and their sale to the serviles. Finds, shipments, prices. Serviles often serve as record keepers for the Shapers, which explains why this ledger is so neat and carefully maintained. Tucked between two of the pages, you find the beginning of a letter. The name of the addressee has been smudged by moisture, but some words are illegible. The fourth bush has been sighted. This one attacked one of the women. When guards arrived, one of them struck it. Not long after being wounded, the thing let out a loud keen. I suspect the creatures support each other when assaulted. Very strange behaviour. Could have programmed them thus. It matters not at this point. We need more support. Let's see what's downstairs. More weird equipment. Open the lock. More Vlish, because of course. Just inside this cavern, you find scorched stone and piles of bones. A wave of raw power hits you in the face. Wisps of essence float in the air. The Vlish down here are far more powerful than the ones above. You can't help but wonder what they are guarding. Oh, I'm going to back out now. Discretion being the better part of valor and all of that. Yeah. Just gonna head to town. Sell off the excess gear I've picked up. Trade with you. To sell something. Just checking the So, don't really feel like I deal with the Inutar village. No, I will. Maybe. We've got 25 minutes for me to do dangerous things in. I'm going to do another attempt at this this spawner. I've got fully healed up squad. I've got equipment. I think that I can do this. Go to here. Still 2 turns of days there. That's all fine. Um, cure. Seven health left on that. 12 health, poison and acid. I think what I need to do is pivot to dealing with creation here. Yes. Yes! One at a time. One at a time. Heal. 3 health, poison. Right. Everything on that one clawbar. Because poisonous melee attacks from being an enormous scorpion. Oh, that was tense. Grounded tunic. Nice piece of armour. But I think that the bonus to mental magic is more useful. Gives me those, So I think what I'm going to do is be an absolute monster. And clear these mines, using creating a thought to clear these mines. There's a canister at the back of there. Make a creation. Not deployed, actually. Combat. Pass, 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 pass. Walk. The sinking feeling, you recognise the small puffballs littering the ground. The shapers call them mines. They are simple fungal creatures. When someone steps near one, it explodes. When you enter the building, the mine sensory tentacles turn and point at you. The closest mines are small, but the row behind them glow with energy. The explosions could easily be lethal. Mines don't normally live long. These must have created very recently, probably to keep shapers from reaching the canister at the back of the room. But what could make them? And for who would make them? And for that matter, could. Uh, pass, 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 pass. That's the front row cleared. Do I have enough? You got damaged at the blast last time, so just back off a little. And you can pass, 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 pass. Blow up a bunch of these mines. Oh, they don't, and I'm out of essence now. Pop out, pop back. deal with that. As far as I could tell, there was no... So when I found mines in the Hills of Jars, there were nearby boxes that unleashed spores that turned them off. But here, there doesn't seem to be anywhere nearby that could have something of that description. So I am having to do it the hard way. What am I doing? I need to actually visit a town to heal up. Going to a friendly town gives you an opportunity to rest, fully restores your health, spell energy, and essence. Why I've been popping back to towns just briefly every now and then. Reason for trading cards is that they are cheap and have and have a lot of health. So this kind of mine clearing job. Right, so that's done, and I can absorb the creation to get some of my essence back from it. So this canister can shape you and improve this ability. Create Artilla. Enables you to create an Artilla or Searing Artilla. If your magic shape is high enough, each extra point of this skill increases the level of your created Artillas. Artillas being people like creations like Jeff. What do we reckon, team? What do we reckon? I'm seeing we should use it. I need to do something about. I'm not sure if you can set so there isn't a stream delay. But I need to make sure to see if I can do things with that. Yep. So chat seems to be saying to use it. Boom. So let's take stock, shall we, of all my cool stuff. Hit abilities. So we have level 1 of creating Fioras and Romas. We have level 2 creating Thards. We have level 2 creating Artlers. Got some pretty good core. Healing abilities. Got some good spellcasting options. Fairly happy with what I've shaped myself in, what I've been shaped into so far. Even if it's making me appear cold and unfeeling and give me an uncanny glow. Right, so options for areas I haven't fully explored. Let's see. I was warned early in the game that the dry wastes were dangerous by inhabitants of Vikiri. But I've toughened up a bit, so we might be able to see what's going on here at least. Getting a bit deserty. So I'm immediately seeing clawbugs. I'm immediately seeing very tough clawbugs. I think that's going to be a little bit too hardcore. But at least we've got evidence one way or the other on it. So let's see what is in my journal to do. Right. Find Arth, who is a trader in Kazakh. Find the stolen knife. Don't have the energy to deal with that one. Destroy the hidden rebels in Thorny Wood. I'm assuming that's the Inutar village. Find the source of Blish. Clear a bridge. Right, so I'm going to return to Pentel because I think that by dealing with the spawner, I have dealt with the source of Blish. Unless there are, I speak to him and say, oh, but there's more Blish. There's always more Blish. At which point I have to reassess. We won't be streaming for too much longer this evening. I found the creature that was making the new Blish. It is no longer functioning. I was always told that Shapers help their creations, but I never thought I'd see it happen. Thank you, Shaper. I confess I doubted the wisdom of the Obeyers. Never again. I'd like to teach you something what I've learned. I would never dare, but from what I've heard, I think it might be useful. I have to be quick to hurt Blish. Here are some techniques I've learned. Codwin explains to you several techniques for lunging quickly, getting the drop on potential opponents. His advice is very useful. He doesn't comment on how you landed on the island with almost no training, but he has clearly realised it. Charles increases quick action by 1. So everything is kind of pushing me eastwards. So I think we might want to... So, question for the chat. Should I go to Pentel East towards this more northerly bridge, or do I go towards the tombs to this more southerly bridge? Maybe Sir Pandas is saying the tombs. Anybody else want to throw anything in there? Tombs it is. Seems to be the general feeling. This obelisk bears 2 shaped symbols. The upper means dead land, the lower means tombs. You enter these narrow valleys. A river carved these gullies out long ago. The land is dead, and there is a bitter stink to the air. There is a weather-worn obelisk by the road. 2 symbols have been etched into it. The upper ones means dead land. A failed experiment must have rendered this area inhospitable to life quite some time ago. The second symbol means tombs. Not ones to waste good land, the Shapers must have used this area to inter their more valued dead. If you could enter some of the tombs, you might gain valuable information. Shapers inter their dead with knowledge, not loot. Pyroma. Level 2, health 29. 29. So it's not much health, but they are. So because I gained that point in the quick action skill from completing that quest, I now effectively have a higher initiative. Okay, they explode when they die. That is useful to know. And they can still spit fire. Cool. Holy shit, that's a lot of them. can still get enough. Okay. When they explode, they can hurt the other ones. That is useful and important to know. But I think, first of all, it's going to be back to Pentel to build Evan the... I want to say fourth. Oi. Creation. Let's get a punchy hand. Current assets 24, assets creations, adequate control. So much health. And give you the claw symbol instead. That's fine. So we've learned something about pyromas, which actually, if I... If I were to end combat and look at my create a creation menu, I believe I have the option to create pyromas as a because I've got a lot of points of fire shaping. Let's keep you topped up. Yep. Again, trying to deal with side passages so that I don't get flanked and outnumbered by exploding roamers. I am not here for that. So these doors aren't opening at my approach, so there must be some kind of control or thing. Thorny woods to destroy the... Oh, that's a... Ah, that's what they were talking about, not the thorny fens. Different thorny place. So yeah, everything really was pushing me that in that direction. Very, very careful. Unless it was like pretty much all of them I faced off at once. Okay, this one is open to my approach. Pull the lever. There is a third shade. Okay, so if we a long time ago, right at the very start of the game, the first thing I saw on Susie Isle was a shade. Shades are magical They can be ghosts, or they can be creations. They are kind of incorporeal, I think is the best way to put it. Ooh. Okay, that was... hardcore. I do not like being chain stunned. I do not like my entire crew getting murdered. Right, so let's try and just get the fuck out of here. So you like being stunned. Oh no. Turns out how he liked being stunned was resist stun. So up. Oh god. See what's that? Acid damage. Slowed as well. Oof. Ah, that was deeply unpleasant. This is a scary place. I think I've dealt with the worst of that. I think it's just there are so many things throwing out that area effect. It wasn't a stun, it was a slow, which was a 50% chance of being stunned each turn. But that's still enough to make me unhappy. Is there a stun resistance ability? No. Do I stick riposte on him as well? Yeah. It's two essence and some control in exchange for yes. So I think I'm going to head back to the tomb so I don't forget what I'm trying to do. It counts as having cleared, I think, because I exited the tombs to the north. But what I think I'm going to do is head back into here, clear out of these remaining shades, and then save. Call it a night. Get the party all right again, so I'm not charging in first. This is where dead shapers were brought to be embalmed. You can still smell the stink of chemicals in the air. Dead shapers are generally embalmed with a combination of wax, formaldehyde, and the excretions of specially shaped fungi. It is strange that defenders were left here. The shapers may have wanted to leave their dead protected. The book lists all the shaper and dead embalmed in the hall. The most valued shapers were given private tombs in the valley. Others were taken elsewhere. None of the names are familiar. There is a note at the end. Karata has instructed for defences to be placed in the tombs. Interlopers who try to study at the crypts without permission must be stopped. So Karata is one of the three most important shapers that we learned about from Servant Mind earlier. I think that was everything. Managed to just about scrape a win. Garments in this cabinet is integrated some years ago. The clothes crumble at your touch. Underneath the rubbish, you find a small iron amulet. There's several symbols on it, but you only recognise one. It means caretaker. You take it. Oh, there's still one of those epoxy. There we go. And a canister for War Blessing, which is one of my more potent buffs. Increases. We look at what War Blessing does at the moment. Blessed for 4 turns. Doesn't. Not very useful description. War Blessing. Hit more often, do more damage. It's an expensive spell, but it's pretty tasty. Do I shape myself to become better at War Blessing? Looking to chat. I will try and deal with the stream delay before next Friday. People are saying take it. There's a cabinet over here. There's shape of records in it. Now, unfortunately, I have convinced the person who does record keeping for the obeyers not to do record keeping anymore because the records they were keeping were entirely pointless. So she's not going to take those off my hands, but I'm sure they'll be valuable to someone. But yes, I think it's 10:30. I think that's a good point to finish off. We found out a little bit about some of the movers and shakers. We've done some work for Plentor. We've cleared a few zones. We've had some tough fights. We've managed to survive, and yeah, we're doing pretty well. So yes, this has been a pleasure. As always, thank you for watching. We will be streaming again, trying to aim for 8 o'clock tomorrow for another 2.5 hours for more of Geneforge 1 Mutagen. It's been great fun streaming for you. If you'd like to follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube for notifications. I'll be uploading this, the VOD from this, later tonight, so that should be up for tomorrow if people want to rewatch or share it with their friends. If you want to follow me on Twitter for announcements about this stream, for retweets about things that interest me, largely things happening in the political sphere and train things at the moment, but it's whatever catches my fancy, and stuff about tabletop wargaming. I have if you want to check out the other stuff on my uh, YouTube channel, I have a um, so Arcade Futurist in the chat is asking if I would say live stream tomorrow. I may have misspoken. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. This is just going to be streaming on the Fridays. But this video, this full stream, should be up available on YouTube tomorrow after it's finished processing. So if people want to rewatch or if you want to share it with your friends, there is a playlist there of this whole thing. Right. Just want to say thank you for tuning in, and good night.